That's great. Uh, I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who has been tuning in as of recent. Despite our changes from going to being inside of a college radio station to just doing everything through Instagram Live and supplying the audio interviews, the music in this interview will be low for those who are wondering, and there will be the music will be raised up in the audio version of this interview. But without further ado, let us start it off. I want to welcome everybody to Human. We are doing another interview, this time with a young lady from Sudan who owns a platform by the name of Women of Sudan. I will be bringing her on as of right now. Let us get this started.
Hi,
Hey,
hello.
what's going on? How you doing?
How are you
How
doing?
are
I'm
you?
great.
I'm good. I feel great. It's nice to have you on 100%. So without further ado, please introduce yourself to the audience for sure.
All right, so first, thank you for having me. It's such an incredible opportunity.
No
So
problem.
as you said, my name is Razan Elshazali, and I am the founder of Women of Sudan, which is basically just an Instagram platform where I post about like visual history and just general Sudanese culture. Yeah.
Nice. In a little while, we're definitely going to get into what inspired the platform, but I wanted to start off with certain questions about you, the individual, so people get a chance to know who are you as the individual who owns this platform. Um, where are you originally from?
Right, so I am originally Sudanese, obviously. So I'm part of the Lubatab tribe, which is from Abu Hamad in northern Sudan. But
Hmm.
I was born and I lived in England, which explains the accent. And currently I live in Doha, Qatar. Yeah.
Oh wow. Nice. And what was your experience like growing up in the UK?
Right, of course. So I was from Newcastle, which is, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, it's in the northeast of England, and it's typically there's not a lot of diversity in the region, but like
Mm.
thankfully, I did have like a large Sudanese community. I did get to meet a lot of people from the same area that I'm from, and I never really felt isolated, which is a really, really good thing.
Nice. So would you say that there is a heavy population of Sudanese people in um excuse me, my bad, sorry.
Yeah.
In the UK?
In the UK, actually, there are quite a few. I feel like even if there
Oh,
aren't
okay.
many, wherever you go, they'll track you down. They'll be like, "Oh, you're from Sudan. Like, nice to meet you," and
Oh
they'll
wow, all
introduce
right.
themselves to you, which is a really nice thing. Yeah, you always feel like you're at home.
You always have a community there with you. That's actually extremely good, extremely good.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead. Let me see this once again. What was, excuse me, how was your experience growing up in the UK different from your experience growing up in Sudan? Because when did you move from how old were you when you moved from the UK,
When
by the way?
I moved from the UK to Sudan, I was about 7 years old, so it's fairly
Okay,
young.
okay. All right. So do you remember the time that you spent in the UK and how it kind of differed from you being
Mm.
in Sudan
Of course, yes,
or
I do
growing up in
remember
Sudan?
like my early memories in England. There was, like I said, there was a large Sudanese community, and I used to
Hmm.
go to Sudanese school. So every weekend, I would go to learn Arabic, outside of like regular school. So when I moved to Sudan, it wasn't a big shift. I'd visited every year. I always met my family. I always talked to them on the phone. So it wasn't that big of a difference, in my opinion, just because I'd always been surrounded by that culture anyway, like my own culture bubble in the UK.
So your family still stay true to the Sudanese values.
Yeah,
This,
of
excuse
course.
me, the Sudanese tradition.
Yeah,
Okay,
of
all
course.
right, all
So,
right.
like I said, I had to learn Arabic. I always used to watch Arabic TV, even when I was in the UK, all of these things.
So how does it feel being bilingual? Does that work to your benefit also?
Honestly, I don't even notice that I'm bilingual. I don't think it's something that like I remember. It's just
Hmm.
something it helps because at home I would speak Arabic with my parents, and then when I'm at school or at work, obviously I'll speak English. I guess it is beneficial. It helps you feel like you're part of two cultures at one time, which is nice.
Okay, okay. And one last question about the language. Which
Mm,
language do you think is harder for someone to learn? Excuse me, do you think it's
mm.
harder for someone to learn Arabic or is it harder for them to learn English?
That's a very good question. I'd say Arabic. Arabic is, I think it's proven like one of the hardest languages to learn because there's a lot of
Okay.
grammar and things like that. But I feel like as well, simply because of Islam, there are a lot of people that just learn Arabic just so that they can practice their religion, which is really cool.
Nice, nice, nice. Now that we've got past the first part of the first section, I want to sit here and play the song that you have requested. Can you tell the audience the name of the song? Because I know it's in your native tongue, and it's hard for
Yeah,
me myself to actually say
of
it.
course. So the song is called Jibal al-Nuba in Arabic, and it refers to an area of Sudan. Jibal Nuba means like Nuba Mountains. So I don't know if you've heard of that
Okay.
anywhere. Yeah, so that's what it means.
Okay. All right. All right. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play the song. Obviously, for those who are just catching up with us, we're gonna be playing it at a lower volume due to us getting in trouble before. So and we'll feel free to speak inside the comments, please, everyone, while the music is playing, and we'll be able to respond to you. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, can you hear it?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Okay. Cool. 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 It's not too loud though, right?
no, it's fine.
All right. Thank you, Tess, for joining. Also, I know you kind of look forward to this interview. For those who don't know what the platform is, while the music's playing, I'm going to take the time to kind of break down this platform. The platform is called Human World, that is currently interviewing Razan. We interview people from around the globe to hear their stories in hopes that people can learn from a different person's perspective or find truth in a different person's perspective. We have been around for the last 2 years, and we will continue to grow. Of course, if you don't know, you can see it clearly. We do have clothing also that is on our online store that can be found in our bio. We also do have a subsection of Human by the name of Human Campfire Sessions, where we invite people from around the world to talk about different subject matters of my choosing that reflects the world of today. So, is there anything that you would like to say to my audience, Razan?
So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again for having me. And I came across your platform recently, and I love everything that you do. And I've seen a few of your interviews, and they just seem amazing. And I love the community role that you've taken.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those who don't know, we are working on putting together a global community. Oh, you do have somebody in the comment section that said something to you, Raz. 100%. Yeah, this is the perfect time to respond. By the way, thank you for the
Okay.
comments.
Thank you,
Please keep them
Yasin.
flowing. Yeah. We are just here enjoying ourselves while I play the song that she requested. Once again, if you don't know what I'm doing here, the music is the background for right now. We're going to continue to talk over it, obviously, because I've gotten in trouble before from Warner Brothers, so I'm just trying not to have that happen again. And so what I'll be doing is the actual song will be put in the audio version of this interview. So you won't be hearing us doing this talking back and forth. We'll be just replacing it with the actual audio of the actual song. All right, moving forward. So this is to you too, Razan, and those who are joining in as the audience. I see you have a lot of supporters, man. You definitely do. This is definitely cool. Definitely cool. Yeah. Someone your age has been able to accumulate such a good following and for such a great purpose. I am honestly amazed.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely on the right path. So, you're welcome. No problem. So yeah. Um. Actually move this over a little bit so it doesn't block my ears. All right, guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue with the interview with another question, of course, that I have for Razan. Please also feel free, guys, to put in the comment section if you have any questions for while songs are being played that you would like asked during this interview. And for those who are listening in the audio version, we're just doing this through Instagram Live, just to let you know. So I will definitely answer your questions soon. please tell the audience a little history about the tribe that you're originally from.
Right. So obviously tribalism is quite a big thing in Sudan because
Hmm.
it's just the way people are. So if I was to meet someone, we'd say like, "Oh, what tribe are you from?" And it's just a conversation starter. So as I said, I'm from Rubatab tribe, which is in the north of Sudan. And I'd say something that's known about the Rubatab tribe that I'm from, or what my dad has told me about it, is that our tribe is one of the most scattered around the country. So you usually find us
Mm.
everywhere. This is because our tribe, historically, we used to work on the train railroad. So that's why a lot of them traveled around, and that's why like
Oh
they're
wow.
found everywhere, basically. That's just one of the cool things that I've been told.
Wow, so your tribe is spread throughout Africa. Am I correct?
Yeah, I don't know about Africa, but like around the country, yeah, and
Okay,
the
okay,
region.
okay. Wow, wow, wow. That is really dope. Wow. So, oh, another thing that I want to ask about Sudan is
Mm.
how many sections are there in Sudan? So there's north, there's the south, is there an east and the west Sudan also?
All right. So in 2011, there was like before that there was one Sudan country, and
Mm-hmm.
then they split. So there's separate countries, North Sudan and South Sudan. But then
Okay.
also just regionally, like you could say like, oh, I'm from Northern Sudan. It's just regional directions, but it doesn't actually mean anything. However, there are states in the country.
How many states are in the country of Sudan?
I actually have no idea. But I think it changes a lot as well because like sometimes like they split up the big states and make them small states. So yeah, trying
Okay.
to justify myself.
Nice. No problems. No problem. Um, what is the oldest tribe in Africa that you know of that is still around till this
Mm.
day that you know?
All right. That I know, for example, in our country in Sudan, obviously there's the Nubian tribe, and they're still alive today, and they're still practicing their language and their traditions. Typically,
Hmm.
we accredit them to the Sudanese mountains. I don't know if you've seen them. Um,
No.
yeah, so we have we have pyramids in Sudan.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. All
we have
right,
more
all right.
pyramids than Egypt, and I'm not sure if they're older, but we have a lot of them, and typically we associate that with like the Kingdom of Meroe and the Kingdom of Kush and the Nubian people.
Mm,
Yeah,
nice, nice, nice,
yeah,
nice.
it's really cool.
What is the history behind the Kingdom of Kush, if you don't mind me asking really quick?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm not the most educated, which is sad. I'm trying my best, but I've been in a British curriculum like my entire life. But yeah, so we credit them to the area of around the Nile where there are a lot of artifacts and the pyramids, and there's different islands as well, just off like in the Nile where we can find a
Hmm.
lot of like history, and there's a lot of archaeological like digging to sort of revive our history and see like what it really was, because I would say that we aren't really aware of it even within Sudan. If you were to ask someone that exact question, if you were to ask them the Kingdom of Kush and the history behind that, not a lot of people would know, which is sad.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Actually, I want to circle back around to
Mhm.
that later on. Not the Kingdom of Kush, but the way that Sudan is set up and the influences that have been put in Sudan since I guess, the colonial age, if I'm correct, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, all right. So, what is um, what is one thing your parents taught you that you will continue to practice throughout life as you grow older?
That's a really good question, actually. It's
Mm.
great to reflect on that and your upbringing. So for me, I would say it's just family values and to be close
Okay.
to your family and to be that expands also to your friends and just the people in your life, checking up on them and visiting them and just making sure that you're there for people, which is something that I
Right.
noticed in my parents, which I really value.
Okay. Okay. Nice, nice. Staying in touch with people and making sure that they're okay, and
Exactly.
practicing extremely good communication skills, which
Mm.
kind of plays into who you want to be in the future too. And we'll get to that also in a little while. Um, what has been your greatest moment in life so far? I mean,
Oh,
I know
wow.
you have way more life to live, but if you can say it yourself, but that's
Right.
been your greatest moment in life so
The
far.
greatest moment of my life. Okay, so a little bit of background on me. As you can probably tell from my account, all of that, I really do. I love history and I love politics as well. So the greatest
Right.
moment and achievement in my life, for example, was I got to meet the United Nations Deputy Secretary-General, and she's a black woman. She's from Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. She's a Muslim woman, and she's the most powerful woman on earth, technically speaking, in the
Oh,
United
wow.
Nations system. And I got to meet her, and it was such an amazing experience. And I got to talk to her a bit about like being an African and being in these high positions like in the diplomatic world, and it just made me like it filled me with so much hope. So I'd say that.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How did you get the opportunity to go and meet her? How did that come about?
Yeah, so like I said, I live in Qatar, and I think in December of last year, she came here to give like a series of like speeches and lectures and stuff. So I got to meet her then. It was amazing. I got to ask her questions.
Nice, nice, nice. Congratulations on that,
Thank
100%.
you.
I'm happy that that was a very good moment that you shared and that it was very inspirational for you too at the
Thank
same
you.
exact time. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes we need reminders that we're headed in the right direction in our life. And I think that was one of those moments for you, especially you wanting to get into politics as you grow older. Um,
Thanks.
I remember looking over your biography and I see that you went to a British curriculum school. I think this would be the greatest time for me to throw it out there. So,
Okay.
how is it? I I kind of don't know how to necessarily approach this, I guess.
hmm
So, first, let us know about your experience going to a British school that teaches the British curriculum. Excuse me,
hmm
the English curriculum.
Right. So, like I said, I was born in England, and I've been in a British school for my entire life, like 17 years of my life. Um,
Mm,
But I would say, like, when I reflect on it, when people ask me these questions about Sudan, and I literally cannot think of one answer, it's just because we're not typically taught that. The curriculum is very ethnocentric, and even though people in Sudan and people in India and people in Malaysia and all of these countries do British curriculums, we never really get to explore our own history as much.
mm.
Mm, yeah.
And I remember speaking to you before the interview one on
hmm
one, and you was telling me about, I guess, the British influence on the Sudanese population. How can you explain a little bit more about how that works and how that is
Yeah,
out
of
there
course.
for you?
So, in the late 1800s, that's when our country faced like colonization from the British, and it wasn't typically colonized. Like Sudan is the only example, I think, in world history of a British condominium, which is Britain and Egypt were both like administrating the area of Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, what it means now and the materializations that we can see in the country is if you go to like Khartoum, which is the capital city, you can see a lot of like old buildings, which were set up by the British and during their regime. And even the school that I went to, it was
Mm-hmm.
a missionary school, so it was a Christian school, and it was affiliated with the British regime, which is something that I went through myself. Also, something that's really sad, in my opinion, is just the loss of our history and the loss of our archives. So a lot of you probably heard the controversies with surrounding like the British Museum, for example, in London, where a lot of their artifacts are disputed and some believe that they're stolen. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
if I was to go to a museum in Sudan, I probably wouldn't see as much as I would if I went to a museum in England, you know. So that's
Mm.
crazy, in my opinion.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing here in America. You can see a
hmm
lot of African diaspora
hmm
inside of museums such as the Brooklyn Museum. When I went to the Brooklyn Museum, they had tombs of mummies, that
Right.
were buried in these tombs. Not excuse me, not tombs. They had artifacts from tombs of mummies that were buried, and I found it to be extremely interesting. That I could see this in New York, but if I
Exactly.
went to Egypt, I may not be able to see the same exact thing. Plus, the
hmm
history is kind of locked away. People don't necessarily get to experience it without having to touch a glass, and you can't even touch the glass half of the time. So it's like
hmm
it's almost as if, I guess, in my opinion, it's almost as if blocking people from feeling and
hmm
experiencing history in an active way to where they can kind of somewhat relive the history that was once there by interacting with it. So I think that's my piece on that as a whole.
That's an interesting
What
point, yeah.
Thank you. I just, thought of it just now. The point kind of came to me while I was sitting here. Usually during, the interview, I don't say much,
Yeah.
but I really wanted to piggyback off that and kind of
hmm
share my perspective, on that subject matter, because it not only affects you, but it also affects me too when I go to these
Mm-hmm.
places, and I'm like, oh well, what about, I have
Mm-hmm.
even questions about how things work. Maybe we could reinvent it in this time. The
Yeah.
past and the present are connected, and with the future alongside of that. So, yes, indeed. Um, what I wanted to sit here and ask you next is we're going to get into your craft, which is I'm pretty sure everybody has been waiting to hear about for quite some time. Actually, let me see something. I think I may have one more. Oh, what is one thing about Sudan?
Mhm.
Oh, actually, yeah, what is one thing about Sudan that most people don't know at all?
Yeah,
Because, oop,
Sudan has pyramids. We have the most pyramids, more pyramids
you
than Egypt.
okay, you have
Okay.
okay, all right.
Nobody
Now
knows that.
moving.
Yeah.
How many? Oh, I think the young lady said it in the comment section. Let me rewind back for those who are wondering. Um, how many? I think she said the states. Okay, she
Mhm.
said how many states there were, not how many pyramids. Well, what I wanted to do was say, I want to go ahead and say this.
Mhm.
How many? Do you know how many pyramids? You don't know, right? You said that before, I believe.
Huh?
You don't know how many pyramids there are. I think you said that before, right? Do
I
you
think
know?
in Sudan there's about 250 pyramids.
215 pyramids? Wow.
50, I think so. Yeah.
How
But
many
I'm
are
not sure.
totally? They only show us, from what I can see in history books, they only show us three pyramids. So if announce the number again, there's 215 pyramids in Sudan?
250-ish, I
Oh,
think. Yeah.
250-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, then
Mhm.
how many pyramids are in Egypt? Because I only seen, when you open up a history book, you only see predominantly three.
Right. Yeah. I think it's because the ones in Egypt are typically larger. So if you were to go to the ones in Sudan, they do look different structurally.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay. And the pyramids, I'm gonna play a song pretty soon before we get into your craft because I do want to pay
Yeah.
attention to to the audience also.
Yeah.
But um, do the pyramids that are in Sudan look like the pyramids that are in Egypt? Are
Right.
they
So
almost identical or different?
yeah, they do look different structurally. They're typically smaller and thinner,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them in Sudan have sadly like been destroyed or like they weren't restored or kept as well as the ones in Egypt. So that's why a lot of people don't really know about them. There isn't a booming tourism industry as there is in Egypt.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, this is great. I learn
Hmm.
something new every day. Without without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and play the next song.
Okay.
Remember, guys, this song right here is called "Never an Easy Way" by Mochiba. Without further ado, one, two, three, four. Here we go. Sorry, just give it some time. It's actually it's playing. It's just playing really low, guys. Like I said before, we got in trouble the last time for music being played. Warner Brothers did step in. Now that we're here with the songs, I wanted to sit here and address everybody in the comment section. Please don't leave because I see that there's a lot of comments going back and forth about the pyramids. So I see that. Let me see. I see that one person has said that number one, there's 18 states in Sudan. Thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. I am Payne. I also see you there, brother, too. You said there are pyramids everywhere in Asia and the Americas. Of course, indeed, they're around the world. And I see that one person says, I think this was a referral to the pyramids that they said no, there was 220, and then I think somebody else said 255. So the people who are in the comment section, if we could kind of, if you want to continue to bring more numbers and see which one is correct. I'm just here enjoying the conversation with Razan, and I'm happy that people are interacting with each other in the comment section. And I'm learning something new in this interview as much as everybody else who is listening to it is too. So,
That's great.
all right. Let me move this a little bit away. So yeah, like I said before, guys, this part is definitely going to be cut out in the audio version. If you're watching this on IG right now, this will still be during this conversation, or this extent of the conversation will be in the final execution of the IGTV video. So. Yep. Oh, thank you for the love that you have been sending. I have been seeing that too. I just want to let y'all know that I do not miss a beat. I'm just trying my best to make sure that for the audio version, I don't jump around and comment on the comment section of the interview. So, all right. I've never considered that before. It's interesting that you should say that. Is there any link that you could send me after this interview for me to look further into that? I will take the time to look into that also. I didn't know that about Florida at all. So, very interesting.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it, Brandon. 100%. Thank you for tuning in. For one, you know what I'm saying. I think just as many people as many people have been tuning in has been pretty amazing to me as the platform continues to grow. You know, I don't come on here with an expectancy of how many viewers we have. I actually I actually try to ignore that when I'm doing the live, just because I feel like it takes away from living in the moment. You know, so I think that's very important. So how are you doing, Razan? How's the interview been for you so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, I love your questions. It's making me reflect on my own experiences and my own knowledge of my country.
Very nice, very nice. That's what I was. That's what I was hoping to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay inspirational. So, oh, you're welcome. No problem at all, everyone. I appreciate y'all as much as y'all appreciate me. It's an even exchange, like I said before. But we're gonna go ahead and start to get back into the interview slowly but surely. This song is actually quite long, so I'm only playing it halfway. And for those who are wondering, here we are back again. That song was by Morchiba, Never an Easy Way. Beautiful song, by the way. Predominantly, I believe, trip hop artist, yes, indeed, in the English area, or in the area of the UK. So, what I want to see here and do is jump back in to your interview and ask you what inspired you to make a platform that focused on the women of Sudan, Africa, and the Middle East.
That's a loaded question, of course, making me reflect, like I said. So Women of Sudan started in around May of this year, so it was during quarantine. I'd been at home for a few months, and I was like, you know what? Like, I was thinking back to my own experiences in my own country and thinking, like, wow, there's so much that people do not know about Sudan, and there's so much they don't know specifically about women because, like, I began the platform with a post, for example, about a woman called Khalda Zahir, who was like the first female doctor in the country. And then
Mm,
as I continued to do that, I was researching more and more women who were doing amazing, incredible things in different fields. There are referees for football, and there are lawyers, and there are members of parliament. There are all of these things that no one really knows within the country, and that made me just want to post about it. Yeah.
nice, nice, nice. And one thing I want to ask you to educate the audience on is, do you, do, was there a time when women had to fight for independence in Sudan? Am I correct, or am I
Do you
wrong? Is
mean
it, or was there
independence of
a,
the country?
yeah, independence of the country? Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah,
So can
of
you
course.
inform the audience a little bit more about that?
Hmm.
I do know a young lady who is from Sudan here,
Hmm.
where I'm at, and she informed me of it. But while we was talking about it, she also said that Google did like the whole entire reporting of the
Hmm.
fight or the struggle that was going on in Sudan. They kind of did it injustice by reporting some things that were not true. So I just
Okay.
want to hear it from someone who's actually in Sudan
Hmm.
at this moment.
Right. So of course, women in like protests has gone back like hundreds of thousands of years probably. So we can say that in 1956, when Sudan gained independence from Britain, there were so many women present and catalyzing the revolution. So this was back like 50 years ago, and still today we see that. So in the past, there was a woman called Hawa Al Tagtaga who was a singer, but she was seen as like the icon of the revolution because she wore this traditional dress that had the colors of the flag, and she made songs about the revolution, and she was jailed and all of these things. This was back in the 1950s, and still
Oh.
today we saw in the revolutions of last year.
Mm.
There were also, of course, women. Women, I've seen reports where women were around like 75% of the actual protesting force. So they outnumbered the men, which is in reports that I saw. And furthermore, you've probably seen the photo of this woman in a white like gown, and she was like chanting, and that photo sort of went viral of the Sudanese protest, and that was how a lot of like celebrity media attention went to the issue, and then this was followed by the Blue for Sudan movement and all of these things that sort of made Sudan like take over the internet quite literally.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
100%. I remember that. And what is it? And for those who don't know, what is the
Hmm.
blue, the blue color that everybody
Hmm.
adopted to do a online
Of course.
protest? What does that resemble?
Right. So the Blue for Sudan movement was actually born from one of the martyrs. His name was Mohammed Nasser, like ربنا يرحمه. And he basically, that color was what represented him, and it was one of his favorite colors. And he, I believe, was studying in the UK, and he came to Sudan just at a time where the revolutions were happening, and unfortunately, he was one of the martyrs of the revolution. So then the Blue for Sudan movement grew from that to represent just him, to represent all of the martyrs of the revolution, and then to further just represent the country as a whole while we were fighting against our dictator. Yeah,
Oh
and then
wow, wow,
yeah,
wow.
it started from that.
Yeah, you are very well educated on that for sure. You
Thank
kind of sped
you.
up there towards the end, but I understand. um, so, what is something that you find challenging when it comes to curating content for your page?
Of course, yeah, wow. There is a lot, to be honest. It is hard to upkeep the account simply because, in my opinion, there aren't a lot of visual archives present on the internet. So if you just Google
Mm,
like women of Sudan, like you run out pretty quickly of things that you find online available to you, and you sort of have to be creative and find new ways to get content. You have to go to libraries and look at random books, and you have to go on the internet on YouTube and search up really random things just to sort of find something that could be interesting and also informative. So I also have to look at Wikipedia pages that could be in English or Arabic or French, and I have to sort of make sense of it all and try to post it on my account.
wow. So you really do some research behind everything that you post. That is
Of
extremely
course.
good. This is extremely good. And the fact that I remember speaking to you one on one, and you was like there were different
Hmm.
platforms out there that also do support you. So how has the art of collaboration been for you?
Of course, yeah, that was one of the biggest things that I'm so thankful for within my account and my growth is just being able to collaborate with different Sudanese accounts. And we have had
Hmm.
like campaigns, for example, we had like a Green for Darfur campaign where we all worked together to make these like infographics to raise awareness to the issue. And honestly, it's just one
Hmm.
of the things that I'm so thankful for because I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without them, really. There's so many different ones that focus on, for example, music or just history or art and all of these things. So everyone has their own niche. But at the end of the day,
Hmm.
we all like come back together, we repost each other's things. And yeah, we do work as a community, which is something that's amazing.
That is very, very good. I think that we could learn something over here in America from those over there in Sudan for
Really.
sure when it comes to collaborating and doing so in a way that's, lighthearted. I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes people collaborate with their own agendas and then the lines get blurred as to what the main goal is that you're trying to accomplish as a group together. And I'm happy that people have come together, especially, oh, by the way, before I continue going, please let everybody know how old you are.
Right.
As
So
a surprise.
I'm 18 years old.
There you go. There you go. For someone who is so young, I'm so happy that all the platforms came together to help you out for sure. That is great. Another thing is, what impact has your page had on people so far that you have noticed?
That's amazing to think about. So I just think that it sparked a conversation on women in Sudan, quite literally just my account name. I'm not gonna say that I have a lot of followers or a lot of people really care about what I'm posting, but I'd say that the people that do, I've noticed that they're interacting with me and they'll send me messages, for example, of like women in their own families or just things that they'd like me to share that they think are interesting, which is really nice. I feel like I'm collaborating with the people, and it's not just me posting things.
Nice, 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 nice. So what is one of the greatest messages that you received back, after your interviews, after posts? What is something that you remembered as like, I remember this one person told me this after I
Hmm.
posted this or interviewed them.
Right. So, um, you keep hitting me with amazing questions, but
You're welcome.
one of the live streams that had like the most impact like on my heart and my soul, quite literally, is a live stream that I had with a woman called Nesma, who is based in the US, but she's originally from Darfur, and she was telling me the story of how she had to flee when she was like on her first day of school. So she was around 7 years old, was when she first heard gunshots for the first time, and then that just had such a profound impact on me. And she was telling me her story, and she was telling all of these people on the Instagram live about her journey and like her family and death and all of these things, and it just made me feel so um like privileged. In Sudan there is a bubble of privilege, just as there are in every other country. So then that just made me feel like, wow, there's so many things that I didn't know about my own country, and the experiences of people in my own country are so different from mine. But yeah,
Mm.
but it was amazing that I got to hear that, and I got to post her, so everyone that's like me could also hear that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I actually did. Is that the interview that you sent me?
Yeah, yeah,
To look at. Yeah,
that's
yeah, that was a good interview. Yeah, yeah, very impactful for sure.
mm.
For those who don't know about the interview that we're talking about, please go check out her page. What is it titled? Is there any way that they could,
Yeah, I believe it's
find it on your
titled
page?
Darfur Genocide Survivor, and it should be my
Mm.
IGTV.
Okay, yeah, when she was speaking, it was very heartfelt. I will admit that
Exactly.
100%. I did feel the pain, the passion, and her trials and tribulations that she had to go through to be where she's at today. So yes, indeed, yes, indeed.
Exactly.
So what challenges have you ran into in life that really, or name one challenge that you ran into in life that was hard for you to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
Like I said, banger after banger after banger. Wow. That's a hard question. I think that's the most difficult one so far, in my opinion. Um,
Thank you. I am known for, I had to give you fair warning before the interview, but I am known for hitting people with some very hard questions.
challenges. I
Yeah.
I don't know how this is
Just
gonna
one.
sound, but it was just leaving my country, leaving, my grandparents and my cousins and all of my friends. It was just moving to a foreign area that I was not used to, being just thrown into like the deep end, like quite literally. But yeah, I think that's it.
Nice, 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 nice. And that is a challenge that you had to overcome. It doesn't, and don't think that, I'm asking the question. So it's like,
Hmm.
yo, I need this great big story, of how I overcame the challenge. No, no, no. I just want to hear your story. That's what counts. So, um, I see you want to study politics and international relations. When you go to college slash university, well, yeah, when you wind up going there, what
Hmm.
initially inspired you to get into politics? What's gonna, what is inspiring you to get into politics? Better yet, I should
Wow.
reword that.
In the vaguest sense, I can just say the term life. Living in a country like Sudan, where, for example, in our daily lives, we had to deal with politics, we had to deal with, rising prices of bread, we had to deal with, American sanctions, we had to deal with all of these things just in our daily life conversations that from a young age sort of instills in you like, oh, politics is important because it affects me directly. Politics is important because everything around me um is just from the decision of one man, like 1,000 miles away.
Mm,
So of course that's something that
mm.
I've just felt I've always liked talking about, like with my family and my parents. I'll just be sitting down. I'll just like give them a political rant just out of nowhere. So that's something that I think proves that I need to be at university just ranting towards everyone and writing essays and all of these things.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Especially after meeting. I mean, we're going back to your main interview. Especially after, I mean, excuse me, going back to one of the main points in the interview. Especially after
Hmm.
meeting somebody from the UN. I think you're right. Like I said,
Thank
I
you.
think you're on the right path.
Thank you.
So when it comes, what? educate me and the audience.
Mm-hmm.
What is international relations? I know, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds exactly, it probably means exactly what it sounds like, but because we're kind of unsure, I would like
Mm-hmm.
to be educated, and so will the audience.
Of course. So the term international relations, I think, is subjective, of course, to everyone. So there is a debate about what it means. But to me, what it means is
Mm,
just what it means to me is just the balance of power between nations and the balance of for things like trade, so that's economics, and social justice, which is just policies in general and military action and all of these things that affect not just the people of one country but the people all around the world. And it's just the interdependence and interconnectedness that we see today in our globalized economy. I'm talking to you now in Qatar and you're in Florida, and just being able to connect with people on that level.
right, 100%.
Mhm.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a job doing this, man. So I guess you can say in so
Mhm.
many words that I'm practicing international relations right now as we
Of
speak.
course. Yeah, you
Okay.
are. You're taking the time out of your day to learn about Sudan and our history.
100%. And you're taking the time out of the day to relate that over to me that I could then relate that to my audience also.
Mm,
So,
mm,
100%. Um,
that's great.
if Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Mm. Wow. Okay, 5 years from now, I hope to see myself, out of uni and with a newfound perspective on life after having studied, and I hope to see myself being motivated and driven to change the world quite literally when I can and I have the ability to and I have the tools and the resources. So yeah, that's what I hope to be doing. I hope to be using my academics to also change the world around me.
Nice, 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 nice. Love the
Thank
answer,
you.
love the answer. Um, if there are some words, excuse me, actually, let me rephrase this. What are some words of encouragement you can give to somebody that you have received in your life?
Right. Well, very. You have to look back on your experiences, of course, and answer something like that. I would say just to be reminded that you matter, because that's something that you can easily forget, and it's something that especially I don't know if you're in university or if you're at school, you feel like, oh, like my opinion doesn't really matter, or what I feel doesn't really matter, and you feel like you're an imposter around like your colleagues. But no, don't
Right.
do that. This inferiority complex, I feel like it's something that I have, and it's something that I see in people around me as well. So that's something that you need to remember, that you matter and that you have the ability to change the life around you, like I just said in the other question.
Ooh, that was really good. You matter. Yeah, we all matter. You know, for real. When you sit back and think about it, that was very good. It's a good reminder, you know what I'm saying? Especially with everything going on, the political climate that I'm
Mhm.
experiencing, where I'm at, you know. So, especially when people are choosing what lives matter and what lives don't, it's really interesting for sure. Um, and I think last but not least, before we bring the interview to a close,
Mm.
what does being human mean to you?
Wow, yeah. So we're back to human world and all of these things. And I would say to bring it back to all of my answers, being human is just empathy. It's being able to empathize with the people around you. It's being able to, like we're doing right now, being able to listen to people about their experiences and relate that back to you in your life and just reflect on the people in your life and how you make them feel and how they make you feel.
100%. 100%. Thank you. Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for being such a vibrant soul and coming on and speaking your truth and the history about Sudan, especially being so young. You're doing it not only for you, but the future generation that is going to be growing up after you and the generation that's growing up with you now. You know, you are a grand influence for those who do not know much about Sudan and those who are Sudanese that are looking to possibly get into works like what is it that you're doing. You never know. Hopefully, from this interview, somebody will definitely be like, hey, I really like what she has going on. And let's see if we can help her find some more information about the Sudanese culture moving forward. So, please say goodbye to the audience. Once again, what is your name?
My name is Razan Elshazali, so thank you for having me first and foremost, and thanks for everyone that's tuned in and listened and asked us questions. It's been such a nice experience being able to talk to you and reflect. And yeah, I'm always here. My platform is always open to anyone that needs any support with anything. I really appreciate you guys talking to me. So yeah, thank you so much.
100%, and like she said earlier, she is the owner, creator, and operator of Women of Sudan, which can be found on Instagram. For further comments, please stay tuned. For those who are listening in audio, this is the end of the interview. For the last song, we will be playing Kalut, Last Words, and without further ado, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, by the way, great, great interview. The song is playing right now, but
Okay.
great interview. I wanted to actually take the time out to say that you answered the questions really well. I know that there was a lot. No, you're welcome. I know I asked you some heavy hitting questions. I did kind of forget your age for a second. I was like, oh, she is kind of young, my dude, So I was just like, oh man, but because I designed my questions to bring out certain reactions from people, of course, and I want to give a special thanks to the person that is still hearting the whole entire conversation at Yasmin said. I hope that I'm saying your name correct, but I'm just going to go with Yasmin. Thank you, because you have been showing unflinching support, unwavering support the whole entire time that this interview has been taking place, and I am just appalled by your interactions and everybody's interactions that happened during this interview. I think this is going to be definitely one for the books. For those who are wondering what this is that I'm playing, it's actually in Arabic also, but it's drum and bass. As a person who listens to many different variations of music and also composes music for HVMAN, I decided that this would be a great song to end with because it's what the last part of the interview, and we just said our what last words. All right, and so yeah, Razan, we both thank you, Yasmin. Yeah, because that was great interaction. It means a lot for real. And for those who are wondering what is going on, this is the end. For those who are just tuning in, this is the end of our interview with Razan, who is the owner, operator, and creator of Women of Sudan platform that can be found on Instagram. For those who are not from my platform or not from my audience, that is from Razan's audience, this is HVMAN, the multimedia platform where people can find truth in another person's perspective, where we interview people from around the world and hear their stories. So if you are interested in what we have, please check out our Instagram. We do, like I said in the beginning of the interview, or the first song of the interview, we do have multiple moving parts. We have HVMAN, where we do the interviews. We have HVMAN Campfire Sessions, where we allow people from around the globe to partake in a global conversation that reflects what's going on in the global community with subject matters of my choosing. We also do have merchandise for purchase. As you can see, I'm wearing the shirt. It's not too clear because my camera is super clear right now. It's mostly focused on my face. But you can find this clothing in the bio section by hitting Linktree and going to HVMAN Store. And it also, if you hit the view shop button, you'll also be able to see it there. All right, so far so good, man. I enjoyed this. I really did.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you one-on-one after this. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind up. Razan, I'll exit you off right now. All right, and then I'll go and speak to the audience one-on-one, and I'll talk to you. I'll call you actually right after that. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good. Hello, everyone. Here I am once again. Thank you for tuning in. I did appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and end this as of right now. Like I said, the audio version will have everything in it. The songs, the full songs, we will be taking out the parts where I was just doing all the talking. And thank you once again, Yazin, for showing the love. I appreciate it. Have a good day, everybody. Remember, we're all human.